Well, the Ozark Mountain Christmas is like none other. You've got to come, friend, and check it out. That's why Bot Radio Network is here. Hi, I'm Byron Tyler. Welcome to this special edition of Mid-South Viewpoint. Mona Stafford is on staff here. She's been a longtime friend and colleague with Bot Radio Network as the Southwest Regional Manager overseeing Southwest Missouri, Northwest Arkansas, and all the things, Mona, that takes place. I mean, you've got your thumb on this area. You're an Ozark girl. You grew up. I am. You know about Ozark Mountain Christmases.
I know all about it, yes. Ozark Mountain Christmas, there's nothing like it,
nothing.
Byron, really. And that's why here in Branson, we expect to have a record number of people this year visiting.
Yeah.
Over the entire year, we think we're going to hit about 10 million. Believe it or not.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. And personally, I think it is our reputation that is bringing people in.
Yep.
Our reputation is one of loving God and country, and we put people first here. We respect people. We love having our veterans come in, and so that's bringing in people by the millions, basically.
Well, all the information we're talking about on these shows is available at explorebranson.com, explorebranson.com, so be sure and check it out. Before you come and plan that Christmas vacation time in Branson, which I encourage you, even if it's just a weekend. I mean, the Memphis drive is not that far. You'll have an incredible experience with the family, making those memories, and really celebrating Christmas here. They're not ashamed to say Jesus is the reason for the season.
That's right. That's right. You won't hear us saying Happy Holidays here.
That's right.
We say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Everywhere.
When we talk about God and country in the shows, there's one show that has been on stage here in Branson since 1984, as long as I've been married, some 38 years. It's incredible. And it's Mr. Jerry Presley, and it's God and Country Theater's Elvis Live. Jerry, welcome to Bot Radio Network.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here, Byron.
Mona, tell us how you first met Jerry.
You know, I had heard about Jerry Presley for years. He is a quiet person. He's not out and about very much in Branson, but I met him not too long ago just personally at an event, and, you know, I could talk to Jerry Presley for hours, and I have now. He's been in my studio. But that's when I met him, and we just became friends instantly.
Jerry, there's something interesting about you in the connection that you have with Memphis and Mr. Elvis Presley, because you are second cousin to Elvis.
Yes.
And like Elvis, you had a twin brother, or have a twin brother.
Yes.
Is your twin brother still living?
Yes, he's in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I understand your mom and dad were ministers with the Assembly of God churches.
That's correct.
That's how you grew up.
Yep.
So I guess you were familiar with gospel music singing?
Yes, we grew up in church. That's where we got our roots, and, you know, singing in church all the time. And, of course, in the early day, we would listen to Elvis, but you got to remember, Mom and Dad were Assembly of God ministers, and he was kind of taboo. So we snuck off and listened to it when we could.
Did you watch him on the Ed Sullivan Show?
Yes, I did. Absolutely. I did see that. I remember that.
Being related to a Presley, I mean, did you understand really what that was? I mean, later you had your family heritage traced to kind of help prove that you are relation to Elvis Presley.
Yeah, I had come to Branson back in 1984 and opened the theater in '85, and we were here for a couple of years. We started doing some road shows and stuff, and we went to Las Vegas. Well, Las Vegas was a little skeptical, you know. You're Elvis's cousins, you know. So what we did was we had a gentleman by the name of Carlton Fulcher. He was a genealogist, and he was hired by the state of Tennessee to do a lineage on the Presley name. So he had a 4-book volume of the lineage of Elvis, or the Presley name, all the way back to when we first came over back in 14-something, 1490 or something. You know.
That's when Columbus came over.
I know.
It's a long time ago.
A long time, yeah. 1476, I think it was, or something. But anyway, it went way back. But we took that. We went out to Las Vegas, and we held a press conference there and called in all the media, the local media, and we brought in Mr. Fulcher there to show, you know, everybody how we were actually related to Elvis. So and it worked out very well because they dropped all the skepticism about it and accepted us, and we did many shows there over the years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're personal interest in singing, writing. Do you write your own music? Have you written your own song? Okay.
No, sir.
So has your career in music been solely kind of modeled after the music and the songs and life of Elvis Presley?
Yes, actually, for years, like I said, I started doing Elvis shows back in 1970. At one time, I had ambitions to maybe become a recording artist. But, I went would visit Nashville and stuff and see all these people sitting around on street corners playing a guitar and strumming and people throwing quarters in there. And I thought, I'm more career-minded. I wanted a career.
Yeah.
If I wanted to sing, I'd do it on the side, but I wanted a career. I wanted to make something out of myself,
Yeah.
So I did. I was career-minded and but I did want to sing, when I started doing the Elvis shows, it was in 1972. There was a newspaper article written about me and Elvis, how this started.
And that was when you were in, I think, South Carolina.
I was in South Carolina, just got out of the service. Well, I was actually still in the service, I'm sorry. But so I was starting to sing in some nightclubs and stuff, and the newspaper down there, it was a statewide newspaper. It's called the...
You got the paper right here, actually. You want to hold it up?
Hey, why don't I do that?
Why don't we do that?
Okay. Yeah, it was called the Carolina Magazine, and that was part of the paper, but it went statewide, all across the whole state of South Carolina. So they did a newspaper article on me and Elvis, and it was on the front page of the entertainment section. It took up the whole front page of a story with me and Elvis. Well, that went over the state. We started getting phone calls and stuff, and I wanted to see what Elvis thought about it. Like I said, we never hung around with him before that, just because our lives were going in different directions, and by that time Elvis was really popular, and he was just very sought after. So I took a copy of it by Graceland to give to Elvis, see what he thought about it, and walked up to the gate and talked to Uncle Vester, and he said, well, his dad, Elvis and his dad wasn't there. They were still in Las Vegas doing something, or at a movie making movies or something, and but they'd be back in about a week or so. So he told me to leave it at his dad's house, and he'd make sure that Elvis got it. Well, it's about 3 weeks later, I got this little letter from Elvis, and he was talking about, the boys handed me this clipping about me and you in a Carolina newspaper. He said, I read it. He says, I really got a kick out of it.
So you actually have a copy of that letter from Elvis with you today.
Yes, I do.
Can you read that letter?
Oh, sure.
This was the actual words that Elvis penned to you.
Yeah, it says...
yeah, you need our glasses sometimes, Jerry.
Glasses.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, it says, some of the boys gave me a newspaper clipping about you and me from a South Carolina paper. I got a kick out of it, and the fact that you're an entertainer too. It's a tough road, but I wish you the best. It says, I know of our kinship, 'cause my aunts have spoken of your family. Sorry, I never had the time to get together, but I would like to do so one day, maybe when I slow down from the road. I would encourage you to continue to pursue your dreams, and if I can help, please let me know. Best of luck, Elvis.
Wow. And, Jerry, it's interesting in that letter he said, when I slow down, and Elvis never slowed down. Never. From the time he wrote that until the time he passed away. He never slowed down.
No, he was, and that was his love,
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, when we talk about Elvis's music and we talk about one of the songs I remember growing up with on the 45 was Suspicious Minds. Mm-hmm. Elvis recorded that song in Memphis at American Studio, and I had the opportunity to go in on a session with a friend recording something else not too long ago, and just realizing that I was in such a historic place. B.J. Thomas recorded in that studio. So many people recorded in that studio, I guess Elvis being one of them. Out of all the music that he sang, he only got a Grammy for his gospel music.
Yeah, that's unexplainable. I don't, nobody knows why. I mean, how many hit records did he have, and how many millions and millions of records did he sell? And the only Grammys that he got was for his gospel album. But then again, that was his favorite music, and I think he showed more emotion and put more into his gospel than he did, his rock and roll music.
Yeah. Did you ever have an opportunity to visit Graceland at Christmas time when Elvis was alive?
Yes, I mean, I drove by, but I really never.
You saw the blue lights.
Yeah,
course,
I saw the blue lights, right, sure.
Yeah. You did have some opportunity to have some one-on-one time with Elvis.
Yes. There were times we used to go to the movies with him, see him at concerts and at Graceland. It wasn't like I grew up with Elvis. I don't want anybody to know that. Yeah, it's Elvis was so sought after. I live 500 miles away. I mean, it's not like we grew up together, but we got together or would see him when we could. We used to go to the movies with him. The last time I saw him in the movies, we saw Star Dogged and Dirty Harry at the Memphian Theater.
Memphian, yeah. That goes way back, yeah.
Absolutely.
In your life, Jerry, in your journey with, we all come to a place where we realize our life is empty. There's a void there.
Absolutely.
And that void is really only filled by our Creator. That's why we were designed, right?
Absolutely.
How about that for you? When did you discover that in your life? That Jesus Christ coming to earth at Christmas time as a baby was much more than just to celebrate at Christmas. There was a purpose for him coming to this earth for us.
Yes, absolutely. My roots grow very deep with my religion. I've read the Bible. I've been a Christian for many, many years, and I appreciate the opportunity. Maybe at the time as a kid we didn't appreciate it, going to church 4 times a week. But now I look back and say, where would I be without it? Where would I be today? Who knows? But I'm very proud of my upbringing and thank the Lord every day for Mom and Dad, keeping us on the straight and narrow.
So when you move into the Christmas season here in Branson, we know how spectacular it is, right, Mana?
Oh yes, my goodness.
Do you have a special Christmas show you do?
Yes, we do. We call it Christmas with Elvis. And now the first half, Elvis only did a couple good albums, so it's not something you can build a whole show on, just the Christmas songs. So the first half is all Elvis gospel, and I tell a storyline of his last and final appearance on the Ed Sullivan, and when he did a gospel song instead of a rock and roll song, and anyway, just to show the world his love for music, gospel music. But we tell a storyline, and so the first half is all gospel, and then the second half is all Elvis Christmas music.
Wow. Just popped in my head, Mana, a story about Elvis recording in the Memphis studio. There was another studio he recorded at sometimes called the William B. Tanner Company had a studio, and they had a studio called Studio 5 over on Poplar Avenue. And this was in the summer months, and they were going to record a Christmas album with Elvis. They went into the studio, and Memphis can be such a sticky, hot place in the summertime. Probably even like Branson, the humidity can get so great. It was one of those days, and they were trying to record a Christmas album. Elvis couldn't get in the spirit and the mood. It just wasn't right. And he was getting a little frustrated, as the story goes, trying to perform and make this music happen for Christmas. The producer said, look, Elvis, why don't you leave the studio, go take a break somewhere, and come back in an hour. So what they did is they went and they got some Christmas trees, brought them in the studio, brought some lights. They turned the temperature way, way down so it got cold in there. Elvis came back about an hour or two later, and he recorded the Christmas album that helped him get into the mood, for the season, recording an album in July.
That sounds like Elvis.
These stories that resonate with you, and sadly, a tragic life, too. Yeah.
Of course, Elvis could have, he didn't have complete control over it. The Colonel pretty much ran him from one end to the other, but Elvis loved it too. On the other side, that was his passion, his music, and the most important thing for Elvis was his fans.
When you're doing the God and Country show, how do you try to present the strong America and all the patriotism and patriotic songs when we see such disrespect for our country today?
Well, it's easy. It makes it easier for me because, that's the right way. The way the world is headed, it's just all Bible. It's coming to pass. Whatever what's in the Bible is coming to pass. There's nothing we can do about it. We could prolong it if the whole country would change, but it's not going to happen. Bible prophecy is coming to an end, and you just have to stay strong and show your love for God.
One of the things that's so noticeable here is the respect that this community has for our nation's veterans. What does it do to your heart, Jerry, when you have veterans? I know most shows recognize veterans and they stand up and
right. Do it every show.
Yeah, and you meet these guys and these women too that have served our country.
Right. I give a speech at every show. We go about our daily lives doing the things that we want to do and love to do, and it's because of the sacrifices that have been made over the many years of wars protecting this country.
Yes.
And it's from the heart. I'm a veteran also, and very proud of it. But and I always tell them, what is so special to me is when I always look out there on the front of that building and it says God and Country Theater. Mm-hmm. And, the crowd usually roars and claps, and it really makes me feel good about it.
That's
Perfect
so
name for Jerry Presley's theater.
It is.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we let our audience know something that's coming up next season too. I mean, Jerry has a fantastic Christmas show, but he is adding to that theater someone that is one of my best friends here in Branson, and that's R.W. and Donna Blackwood.
R.W. and Donna, I love
are moving over to Jerry's theater.
They've been on the show many times.
Yeah.
I love the Blackwoods.
Yep. Well, they're coming over. They're going to do their gospel show at 10 o'clock in the morning during the week. And then on Sundays at 3 o'clock, we're going to put the name Presley and the Blackwoods back together.
Oh,
Isn't
my
that
goodness.
cool?
And I must mention, R.W. now has got Memphis ties, too. Grew up in Memphis, went to Central High School. I'm just telling this to our Memphis friends because they know the connection. So we got Mr. Jerry Presley. We got R.W. and Donna Blackwood here.
Yeah.
That's going to be fabulous. That's going to be in the spring.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
that
starts
love this.
in April of 2023.
What do you do between the holiday time, Jerry? Do you take a break, or what do you?
Oh boy, I don't really. I either work on the theater, fixing it up and changing things and stuff, and of course preparing for the next season. But I think just next year is just going to be a special season because we're bringing 3 or 4 different shows over, and they're all Christian based folks, and they're just good people, and it's just going to be so much fun. But I'll tell you what, I've been doing Elvis now for 52 years, and it just seems to be getting better, and it's amazing. Elvis has been gone 45 years, 45, but it's he's like an heirloom. I mean, the crowd, the people are still seeking out Elvis's music.
That's right.
By the groves.
Even the young people.
Yeah. And that new movie that came out is it spurred some interest from the young kids. And,
all my
and they
grandchildren
really
have
like
seen it.
Yeah.
What do you think about some of the younger Elvis impersonators? Do you ever get conversations with them? And
Absolutely. I've always liked seeing impersonators, and if they're good, I'll tell them. If they're not good, I'll tell them. So, I think the fans or the people have kind of forgotten what Elvis actually sounded like and what he looked like because, all we have nowadays are impersonators, and even if you go to Memphis, in August or whatever, Elvis Week. Used to in the early day, you never heard anything about impersonators. I mean, there'd be a few around, but it's all based on impersonators now, or Elvis tribute artists. Excuse me.
Right.
The attitude, I guess, has changed a little bit, and there are so many good ones out there. But they're having fun with what they're doing, and the main thing is they're keeping Elvis's name out there.
Yes.
And if they're not the best tribute artist in the world, it's okay. They're doing what the music they love, and that just shows you how many people Elvis's music touched.
And amazing, yeah, it really is.
He touched billions and billions of people's lives.
Was it the Hawaiian Christmas that went?
is the
world around the world.
is
How many billion?
the Aloha from Hawaii show, 73. That's an amazing story in itself. That went to 58 different countries. Now, this is 1973, before everybody started.
Yeah.
You know, the technology just wasn't there.
Computers weren't there.
No.
The internet, yeah.
No, but they pulled it off, and it went to 58. It was telecast over 58 different countries, and 1.5 billion.
Isn't that amazing?
Billion with a B.
Wow.
People saw it that night. And at that time, that was half of the world's population.
That's just
Wow,
amazing.
that's amazing. Jerry Presley, God and Country Theaters, Elvis Live here in Branson is part of the Ozark Mountain Christmas Friend for our Bot Radio Network listeners. Now, Jerry, how can friends get information? Do you have a website, don't you?
Yes, it's Jerry Presley's God and Country Theaters, TERS, or just God and Country Theaters.
Okay.
And you can buy your tickets online.
Yes,
and
you
I would
can.
just like to say that church groups love Jerry's shows. Church groups are huge here in Branson. And
Yes.
so if your church is planning on something for Christmas, this is really the
Time to
theater
do
that
it.
you want to go to. I can give the phone number to call.
Yeah, do that.
It's 417-334-6806. 334-6806, and some nice person on there will get you the best seats to any of Jerry's
Correct,
shows.
absolutely.
Wow. This has been great. feel like we had like a little family
Oh,
reunion
this is
here with
fun.
you,
I
Jerry.
just love Bot Radio. I tell you what, you guys do. You're just such a name in the industry. You do so much good. You really do.
Wow. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for that good
Jerry.
work. Thank you, Jerry. Well, friends, that's really all the time we have from here in Branson with the Ozark Family Mountain Christmas. I say family because it's all about family when you come to Branson.
Yes, it is.
It's the Ozark Mountains Christmas, and it's a place for your family to come and enjoy a wonderful celebration of the season. Just hope you'll come and enjoy anything we've talked about. Don't forget, you can go to the website, explorebranson.com, and learn more. Mana, thanks so much. Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Byron and Jerry.
Merry Christmas to you folks. Thank you so very much.